How do you prevent problems? How do you identify problems? How do you tackle them rapidly so that you don't have damage to the economy and to that producer? Madeline Mellinger was one of the very first to truly identify and recognize the value of integrated pest management.
Integrated Pest Management, or IPM, is a comprehensive approach to identifying and managing pests with the least possible impact to people, property, and the environment.
So integrated pest management means that you use the mitigation and control techniques that you can to handle risk.
Prior to IPMs, plant pests were controlled through scheduled applications of pesticides. IPMs would reduce the amount of pesticides used by Florida agriculture, and Madeline Mellinger has had a key role.
I think it's easy to say that probably going to an integrated pest management program easily cut the use of chemicals by 50% as a ballpark number.
Her efforts ultimately saved Florida farmers millions of dollars by reducing the volume of pesticides necessary to bring high-quality crops to market.
We've been doing business with Madeline and Glades Crop Care for over 40 years, and you have that level of trust and confidence that you don't have to establish that trust every day.
Madeline Mellinger is the owner, and now as a partner with her husband, Dr. Charlie Mellinger, in the very largest crop care organization and business in the entire United States.
Glades Crop Care, as far as I know, is the largest company that deals with subtropical specialty crops globally. And we do contract research for many of the major manufacturers and have done that work since the early 80s.
There have been several instances over the years when Glades Crop Care was the first person in the entire United States to identify a particular imported pest.
She estimates 25 scouting firsts for Glades during her career, including the first detection of Thrips palmi in the Western Hemisphere, with finds in both Homestead and in Puerto Rico. 3 years ago, Glades discovered the first Asian bean thrips in the state.
Our scouts, our consultants, are good enough observers that they are able to recognize when something is different, and that was the case with Asian bean thrips. My background was as a biologist, especially an entomologist, and I was hired by a company in Belgrade as a junior entomologist. They went bankrupt 6 months after I started with them, and so I went to growers, asked if I could do some of the same things and some different things. I was under a lot of scrutiny. People wondered what I was about. I had one client who hardly said anything to me for about 6 months, but he sort of watched what I did and he paid me to do it, and so it all went on. He's still a client.
To this day, several children and grandchildren of the original 6 growers continue as customers of Glades Crop Care.
She came and made a presentation about how she would like to manage integrated pest management on that crop. And she said she can control all of her pests and diseases and maybe save us some money, and it worked great.
Growers in Belgrade taught me about agriculture. First they showed me celery, and then they showed me sweet corn, and then lettuce, and one commodity after another, and peppers and tomatoes. So that's how I got started. The growers taught me.
Madeline has been a leader for many years.
The biggest challenge for me is business, the world of business, because I had no formal training or I didn't know the world of business. And so Jack Green was a mentor with business.
She was in the fields by herself, doing what she does. And Charlie, of course, was there. But this woman built this place. And it's not a candy store. It's an edifice. It really is. I don't know how many farmers gotta bless her big toe every day and wish her the best because she saved their butt. And that's in the simplest language I can put it.
Well, she's worked extremely hard. She's developed, this company's been in business since '72. She's put I'm going to compliment myself, but she put supervisors in place that do a great job. So she doesn't have to intervene very often. And as of late, since I've been here 30 plus years, she hasn't needed to intervene much at all. Her extracurricular, I guess you could call it, she goes to the University of Florida and was instrumental in the DPM program. She's done numerous things. She goes to Washington, and I don't even know what she does, but she's instrumental in ag. And this is, I guess this was the starting part.
IFAS provided the foundation for Glades Crop Care, and it provides research for us to continue going. It is pivotal for growers in our community and actually growers nationwide, because IFAS does research on specialty crops.
Since 1997, each of the 5 of IFAS senior vice presidents have appointed Mellinger to serve as a UF delegate to the Council for Agriculture Research, Extension, and Teaching, or CARET, of the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities, including service as the liaison to the Extension Committee on Policy.
And CARET has been a real passion, but when Dr. Davidson, I believe, originally asked me, I told him, I suggested to him that I'm not a yes person, and he said that's the reason they wanted me to do it. So
She has had all levels of leadership with this group over the years to ensure that public policy was strong to benefit Florida.
I serve on a committee. About a year ago, we were introducing ourselves around the table, and a gentleman sitting beside me who works with a company that we all know in California very proudly announced that he had come to the University of Florida and gotten his doctorate in plant medicine.
through Foundation of Environmental Agricultural Education, we fostered the program, and because it is a multidisciplinary program, and that's what crop consultants have to be multidisciplinary. And so we really wanted the students from that program. We needed the students as consultants.
I think she had a vision for that program. I think she was determined. She wasn't going to let anybody tell her no. She's helped to recruit young people into that program, and now they've gone out throughout this country to help and strengthen agriculture.
I think another very strong position Madeline has taken is she's known as the godmother of the doctor of plant medicine.
Dr. George AgWm gave my husband Charlie, Dr. Charles Mellinger, that title along with me, just because we had worked so hard to establish the program, and it was difficult. It had to go through the state legislature. It was a new program, but it is still doing well, needs more financial support, and it's an important program.
Madeline's husband, Dr. Charles Mellinger, joined the company in 1980, and together they continued to build the foundation for Florida's IPM.
I had run out of science. I needed a scientist, and he needed people. He was a sole practitioner. I had a staff at that point, and we met each other through a mutual friend at a horticulture society meeting. Started working together, and after 4 or 5 years, kind of decided there was an us, and here we are. Oh my goodness, everything. Best friend, and he's the rainmaker for the company. He's the science brain behind all of the new things that we do, and he's the quality control assurance person in all of the things that we have ever done. So he's crucial.
Madeline should have been the Woman of the Year earlier and more often. I think her humility maybe has kept her maybe from being considered earlier, but she very much belongs in that group with the Dr. Martha Roberts of the world and the Lynetta Griners of the world and all of those who have been selected in the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm proud of her. I could not be more proud.
This is very personal for me. She's a longtime friend. but she has just been so unselfish in the way she's conducted her business. It is kind of a good idea, I think. You know, food production is actually the key, I think, to the success of America as a.
I suppose ag production in this country is something that we don't think enough about. It's part of our national security. It's part of global security. Food problems create wars, and I think we need to all pay attention to that. Once farmland is turned into housing developments, it doesn't return to farmland. We just really need to protect our agriculture.
This should be a primary goal of many people in the industry, and that's what I see when I see Madeline, is she is that shining star of people that are willing to do whatever it takes.
Madeline mentors those around her. I've got a couple of young ladies on my staff, and one in particular that she has taken and coached up and has indicated to her not only does she need to get involved in other organizations, but she needs to lead those organizations because diversity is a good thing.
The door to careers in agriculture is wide open to women. It's such a technical field. There's so much intricacy and information that has to happen within agriculture, particularly with AI coming along. University of Florida is at the forefront for AI. And so I think the path forward for women in agriculture is wonderful. I think this line of work will go on a long time. How long I'll be doing it, I don't know. I do mainly administrative work, so I'm easily replaced. The experts are the people who are in the field.
The one thing that raked me about this business, the concept of this business, because dramatically it's men, there's men everywhere. And here the lady comes along and she beats them at their own game. And that's what happened. And that's what's been happening for a long time. As far as I'm concerned, and I have listened to a lot of people talking about, oh, agricultural issues. Jack, you've been working with somebody, and they asked me an opinion. And some of the farms and the names and the things, and I said, she's better than all of them. The problem is that because she's a lady in a man's world, and that's still the damn truth. Forgive my use of the language. But she went beyond it. She successfully created that her career that was going to surmount all those objections that keep coming at her all the time. And she won, and she wins, and she strategizes, and she makes it happen. Oh, what did I do? Oh my God, I created not a monster, but a legacy. And to me, she's a legacy.
Because she could be anywhere else doing anything else, and yet she invested in a University of Florida Doctor of Plant Medicine program. She invests in serving on a committee at the Florida Fruit and Vegetable Association. She invests in young people in this industry. So again, we're fortunate to have her, and I think we all